as far as how it stretches?
I mean, as an offensive line coach, you're always, preparing for the worst, right? So, but I think going into a training camp, the whole overall unit has been the best since we've been here. And, I was talking to Coach Cooley, my assistant, the other day, and, we haven't seen too many units that we've been around that's been this deep from, the top group to the last guy on the roster. So, we're excited to be able to, go to work with them every day and just keep focusing on improving and, just playing to our standard.
How do you size up the tackle situation right now? You've got 4 or 5 good options. Where's it stand in your mind?
It's still wide open. Guys are battling. We got a lot of guys with really good experience. Gunner shows up, Turner's back, Teddy's back. You got Tyler Kanak over there, right? Obviously Pritchett is here, so they're all battling. They're all working hard, and at the end of the day, we're going to play the guy that's going to execute and play with our technique and play with the effort that's required for us to be a championship level team.
Wide open. When do you want to have it decided?
Probably game day.
One of the things that Dylan has been working on with the offensive line is protections. How have you seen that partnership?
It's awesome. He's a very cerebral kid. Obviously growing up with a dad as a center, that was what, he was taught growing up. And then just the communication between him and the offensive lineman and the comfort level that they have on and off the field has really grown, just for him being in year 2. And so it's really a constant work in progress, right? But in the protection world, we want to get it right, and we want to make sure that, we take care of our running backs as well and allow them to get out on routes too. So we try to get that thing right. So.
You mentioned Turner being back. I mean, what have you kind of seen from him working back from that injury? Because that was a pretty long process.
For sure. He attacked it every day. You face adversity in life. You can do one or two things. You can fight, right? Or you can act like I'm not going to say the word, right? But, you just keep, and he attacked it every day. For him to be back this soon is a credit to him and his mentality and how he approaches everything, right? So really excited. He still looks like Turner, Corcoran, right? Like how he's looked in the past. So just getting him back in shape and getting the rhythm back and all that stuff. So.
Matt, when we talked to him last weekend, said that if it shakes out that Elijah and Gunner are the top 2 tackles, that you guys would have no problem moving Gunner over to the right side. How much is he practicing both sides tackle during camp, or is he just mainly doing the left tackle stuff?
We rotate guys all the time. Not only Gunner, we work a lot of guys in different spots. Not only, for this season, but when you get to the NFL, and if you're a guy that gets there, you're going to have to learn how to be versatile and play on both sides. So, we work a lot of guys on both sides. We work, different guys at guard and center. So, and because in the past, you never know what's going to happen. So we're just focused on trying to figure out who the best 5 is, and on August 28th, that's who's going to roll out there and do their jobs.
What do you want to see from Pritchett as you kind of challenge him here the last 2 weeks before kickoff? And what do you want to see from Elijah Pritchett as you guys close in on Cincinnati?
Just focusing on, the stuff that we talk about and the stuff that we teach. It's always a process. This is year 4 for some of those guys in that room, right? It's a process, learning new techniques and new system, different offense, right? Different calls. So just continuing to attack the process, right? Continue building the discipline that's needed to be a consistent offensive lineman for 60-plus minutes.
Donovan, when we talked to you in the spring, you brought up watering the bamboo a lot. Can you explain a little bit more on what that means to you and how it applies to your room?
The whole thing about the bamboo, right? You talk about watering the bamboo, right? You water it every day. It takes about 3 years for it to hit the surface, right? But under the surface is building that foundation, and the roots are stretching out, right? And after your 3rd year, that thing shoots up about 60 feet in 2 weeks or something like that. So, it's for everybody, right? Not just the older guys, the younger guys. I think that's, and we're taking, along with that, we're taking that white belt mentality, whereas even though you might be a black belt in something, right, a martial arts kind of term, right, you always take, you go back to you're a beginner and keep focusing on the process. And, it's all repetition, repetition, right? You think about Navy SEALs, right? They go to war. And they're fighting for their lives. They're fighting for our lives, right? And it takes repetition for them to be in that chaos and just focus on their training. And so same thing for us, right? We're not getting shot at and those things, but right, it's the repetitions that you put in, and then when you go out to play against a defense in practice or different teams, right, you just fall back to your training, and that's what we're focused on.
How much does it help to have those older guys like Rocco, who they didn't play right away when they started college football either, and do they help the younger guys with that, to see their progress even though they're not, at the top yet?
Absolutely. One thing, with this unit now, the standard's it's been a long time coming. Thinking back to when we first got here, I always thought of Nebraska offensive lines were those dominant units that, take over games, and in the fourth quarter, the defense is so beat up that they can't stop you, right? So I give credit to a lot of guys along the way that's upheld that standard every day in that room. From the first day we got here, I think of guys like Trent Hickson, Ethan Piper, Joey Mancino. You got Turner Corcoran, you got Teddy Prohaska, Henry Lutovsky, Justin Evans, right? You got all these guys that have been here since we first got here, and now the room is healthy, right? You see guys like Rocco in meetings turning around to Gibby and hey, and Gibby's on the film, right? You see Justin taking Jake and Sam under his wing, and they all work together, right? It's just a special unit. It's a special room to be a part of because it's truly player-led. Right, and our jobs as coaches is just to make sure the standard is a standard, and we just keep that thing going.
I know Turner's been at left tackle for you mostly, but he can play anywhere. Where does he get the bulk of his reps now that he's back?
He's been getting both tackle spots right now, and he takes snaps on the side as well. So, Turner's a cerebral guy. He's super smart. He understands everyone's jobs in the field. So, he can. I think he could be an all-5 guy. If we need him to play guard, put him in here, whatever, right? And then he's always, emergency center because he's so smart.
Anything else for Coach?
Awesome. Thanks, guys.